Imagine this. It's September 27th, 2025. There's this heavy, almost reverent hush that's fallen over the San Ynez Mountains. We're in Goleta, California, at a place called the Sea Crest Nursery. Now, usually this is a place for, potting soil, palm trees, that kind of thing.
Right, for landscapers.
Exactly. But today, the air is just vibrating with a completely different energy.
Yeah, you can almost feel the tension. You have these huge, pristine white tents, and they're stretching across, 70 acres of a private estate.
70 acres.
But it's not just a wedding setup.
Yeah.
I mean, the perimeter is fortified like a state summit. We're talking doubled security teams at every single gate. There's aerial surveillance circling overhead, specifically looking for drones.
And inside that perimeter, a
Right.
strict, military-grade no-phone policy.
And that creates a certain mood, right?
Totally.
You've got 170 guests. They're gathered on these beautiful Persian rugs, surrounded by all this lush greenery. It feels intimate, but because of that security, the pressure is just so high. It's a total vacuum of information.
And then the moment, the reveal, a bride steps out. She's wearing this hand-draped satin Ralph Lauren halter gown. And just like that, the internet, which has been completely dark on this for hours, it just breaks. It's not just any Hollywood wedding. This is the moment pop culture has been waiting for. Selena Gomez has officially tied the knot with Benny Blanco.
And you feel that shift almost immediately. You go from this really romantic, quiet ceremony to just the absolute chaotic buzz of the news cycle. Hollywood froze, the cameras waited, and all those rumors were finally put to rest.
Welcome to StarScope Report. I'm here to obsess over the details.
And I'm here to make sense of them.
Our mission is simple. We uncover the drama, the shakeups, and the viral moments behind the fame. And today we're doing a deep dive into the headline that took over everything. Selena Gomez married.
But we're not just looking at the dress or the flowers.
No, we are looking at the shocking guests, the antics that almost derailed the whole thing, a proposal that almost didn't happen because of Taco Bell, and a ring bearer moment that, it involves a comedy legend, and it's just pure gold.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's just start with the basics. The headline. Selena and Benny are officially husband and wife. But when I look at the reports, what strikes me isn't just the romance, it's the logistics. This wasn't a wedding, it was a fortress.
It really was, and that's the first big takeaway here when you analyze modern celebrity culture. Privacy is the new ultimate luxury.
Right.
So as we said, the venue was Sea Crest Nursery in Goleta. It's basically Santa Barbara, but it's really tucked away.
Yep.
A 70-acre private estate.
So why a nursery? That feels so specific. You usually hear about a grand hotel or a castle in Italy.
Well, it's part of what some industry analysts are calling the anti-ballroom movement. You see this with ultra high net worth people. They don't want the Four Seasons ballroom where any guest can snap a photo from the hallway.
Or where paparazzi can camp out at the valet.
Exactly. They want vast, controllable open space. They want to create a biome they can completely regulate from the ground up. And that's why you get the doubled security.
And the aerial surveillance, I have to ask about the drones. Is that standard now? Or is this just, paranoia?
For a star of her magnitude, it is absolutely standard.
Right.
Paparazzi tech has evolved. It used to be long lens cameras. Now it's 4K drones that could just drop down silently.
Wow.
So the countermeasure is having your own air patrol to jam signals. And for the guests inside, surrendering your phone is just the price of admission.
It's so interesting because on one hand, it sounds so draconian. Hand over your phone.
Yeah.
But on the other, it actually forces people to be present.
It forces eye contact. It forces real engagement. You're not curating your own Instagram story of the wedding. You're just at the wedding.
Right.
And the secrecy started way before the ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
The reports say festivities kicked off Friday night, a rehearsal dinner at a private mansion in Hope Ranch.
And the guests couldn't even drive themselves there.
Nope. They were chauffeured in Mercedes buses, with the blacked out windows, just to keep the location under wraps. You're a captive audience, literally.
So you're moving 170 A-listers around like a Secret Service op. Where do you even put all of them?
The El Encanto Hotel. Rooms there can go up to $3,500 a night.
Wow.
But again, it's about control. You keep everyone in one ecosystem. You minimize leaks. You create a bubble.
Okay, let's pivot to the aesthetics, because despite all the military-grade security, the vibe itself wasn't bunker. It was Ralph Lauren.
A very, very deliberate choice.
Yeah, why Ralph Lauren? Why not something edgier? Selena's had plenty of edgy moments.
I think Ralph Lauren signals Americana. It signals stability, class, almost an old money aesthetic. It's a huge departure from the typical pop star look. Ralph Lauren is the visual language of the establishment.
And the dress itself, a halter-neck, satin bodice, antique lace.
A dramatic open back.
Mm.
But the detail that really stands out in the reports, no veil.
Just a bouquet of white lily of the valley.
Right. No veil, it sort of implies you have nothing to hide. You're
Yeah.
stepping into this fully seen. The sources describe the vibe as, and I love this, less Pinterest board, more private vision board.
That's a great line. It feels so authentic to who she is now. And speaking of authenticity, there was that moment with her grandfather.
Yes. She was walked down the aisle by her grandfather, David Michael Cornett. Her mom actually called it a fairy tale come true.
It just grounds the whole thing, you know, amidst the drones and the satin. It becomes a real family moment.
And she had costume changes, too. For the reception, she changed into a second see-through lace gown and then a short Ralph Lauren dress for the party.
She came to dance. But, you know, a wedding is only as good as its guests. And the guest list. I think that's where the real story is.
Oh, the guests are where this deep dive gets really fun.
Coming up, we are going to unpack the infamous Bad Bunny incident that left Steve Martin stunned and find out if a 75-year-old comedy icon actually crawled down the aisle as Gollum.
You are not going to want to miss that.
Okay, so the guest list. You've got the people you'd expect, right? Taylor Swift.
Obviously. Sans Travis Kelce, we should note, he had a game, so Taylor was there solo. But even her arrival was like a whole operation. Separate motorcade, privacy umbrellas.
And she gave a speech.
She gave a speech. Ed Sheeran gave a speech. You also had SEA, Camila Cabello, Mark Ronson was DJing. That's the cool kids table. That all makes sense.
Right.
But then you have the other group, the Hollywood heavyweights. Paul Rudd, Edgar Ramirez, Zoe Saldana. But the dynamic that totally dominated the narrative comes from her Only Murders in the Building cast.
Specifically, Steve Martin and Martin Short.
Her work dads.
It's such a fascinating trio. A 30-something pop icon and two comedy legends in their 70s. Do you think this dynamic is actually real?
I do. I think it goes deeper than that.
Yeah.
It's a found family dynamic, which is so rare in Hollywood. You know, usually it's transactional. We're co-stars till the press tour ends, then we don't speak.
Right.
But this group, they've adopted each other. And the lead up to the wedding involving these two was chaotic in the absolute best way possible.
We have to talk about the Tonight Show appearance. September 9, 2025. I remember seeing the clips and just thinking, is he serious? Or is this performance art?
It was live TV.
Mhm.
Martin Short is talking about how excited he is for the wedding. And he says, and this is a quote, "We are all so excited because we love this lady and we love her fiancé, Bad Bunny."
Which is not correct.
Wildly incorrect. Her fiancé is Benny Blanco. Bad Bunny is a global superstar, but he is definitely not the groom.
What was the reaction? I mean, what did Selena do?
The sources say she was frozen, just like completely frozen in shock. And this is where the dynamic is perfect. Steve Martin, who always plays the straight man, he just turns to Short and asks, "That's two different people."
See, that's the question. Was Steve Martin joking or did he genuinely not know? Because if he didn't know, that is even funnier.
That's the beauty of it. It's this hilarious generational gap. You have Selena, this massive pop icon, and her two weird uncles who just can't keep the pop stars straight.
And Martin Short, instead of backtracking, he doubles down.
He does. He says, yeah, completely. Kind of the same. Just pure chaos energy.
But that wasn't the only bit. We teased the Gollum thing. Please tell me that actually happened.
It was a very real bit. On that same talk show, Selena mentioned that Martin Short was going to be the ring bearer. So Short immediately slides out of his chair, gets down on the floor, and starts presenting an imaginary ring like Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
No way.
Oh, yeah. Creaky voice and everything. "Here's your ring, Selena. Take it."
It's just such a contrast to the Ralph Lauren elegance we were just talking about.
Totally. The sources don't explicitly confirm he crawled down the aisle, but given his energy, I wouldn't rule it out. And it just highlights their whole dynamic. Selena said Steve Martin communicates through these polite, formal emails to her assistant.
Whereas Martin Short is making Gollum jokes on national television.
Precisely. It grounds the whole narrative. It shows she has a circle that feels real, you know, it feels safe. And that's the weird uncle phenomenon. They love you, but they will absolutely roast you in front of millions of people.
And that's a sign of intimacy. But speaking of things not going exactly to plan, the wedding was perfect, but the road to get there wasn't so smooth. The proposal, it seems, almost didn't happen.
A very, very relatable story.
Stick around because we're going to hear how Taco Bell played a major role in the engagement and where the newlyweds went right after the 2026 Golden Globes, hint, It involves waffles. And if you love getting the inside scoop on these private moments, hit that subscribe button. We've got more deep dives coming you won't want to miss.
Okay, so let's get into this proposal story.
Right, so we've established they're married, but the backstory is key. They met way back in 2015 working on Same Old Love, but it wasn't romantic until 2023.
It was a slow burn, but when it hit, it really hit. Betty apparently told his mom pretty early on, this is the girl I'm going to marry.
Which is so sweet. So he plans the proposal. What was the plan?
Well, he knows her favorite food is Taco Bell.
A woman of taste.
Right. So his plan is this whole surprise proposal involving Taco Bell at a soundstage. It's meant to be private, quirky, very them. But there was a glitch.
What was the glitch? Did the crunch wrap get cold?
The glitch was the bride-to-be. She thought she was going to a photo shoot, and apparently she was in a grumpy mood that day,
Oh, no.
and she actually tried to cancel it.
Trying to cancel your own engagement because you're just not feeling it that day is maybe the most human thing I've ever heard.
Betty was sweating it out. He's quoted saying she almost didn't come.
Ah.
Can you just imagine that anxiety? You have the ring, a big marquise-cut diamond, by the way. You have the Taco Bell ready, and the girl you love is trying to bail because she'd rather be in sweatpants.
But she went.
She went. And luckily, she said yes. And to bring it back full circle, Martin Short was later seen at the Golden Globes literally twisting and examining that ring on her finger.
Appraising it.
Exactly, just mesmerized by it.
So let's fast forward to wrap this whole story up. It's now January 2026. They're married. They are at the 83rd Golden Globes, their first big public event as a married couple.
And they attended with Steve Martin and Martin Short. The whole gang was there. Now, only murders didn't win their categories that night.
A travesty.
I agree. But they kind of won the night in a different way. And this brings us back to that whole high-low culture mix we talked about.
The after party. Usually it's the Vanity Fair party at some exclusive club.
They didn't do any of that. Instead, we got an Instagram story that tells you everything you need to know. It's Selena, Benny, Steve, and Martin. They're at a diner.
Not a club. A diner. Like a vinyl booth, fluorescent lights diner.
A super bright diner. The table is just covered in French fries, waffles, and wine, and the caption is just, breakfast for dinner.
That image is so powerful. You have these people in like five-figure outfits, fresh off the red carpet, eating waffles.
It cements them as the ultimate cool couple. It says, we don't need the validation of the after party. We just want diner food with our friends.
It's that contrast again. We started this deep dive with Persian rugs and aerial surveillance and, $3,500 hotel rooms, the machinery of fame.
Right.
But the moments that really stick, it's Martin Short doing a Gollum impression. It's a Taco Bell proposal. It's waffles at a diner.
And that's really the point, isn't it? To show that behind this massive celebrity machine, there are these very human, very grounded relationships. It's the found family that resonates.
Totally. You have these two older comedy legends who've just adopted this pop star and her producer husband.
And they protect her. Even the jokes, the Bad Bunny mix-up, the ring appraisal, it all comes from a place of real affection. It feels safe.
In a world where celebrity marriages can feel like business mergers, this one just feels like, well, like friends hanging out.
And she found a partner willing to sweat it out while she's grumpy.
That is true love. So here's a final thought as we wrap up. We know Martin Short joked about being the ring bearer, but in a world where celebrity weddings are often these huge PR stunts for a magazine cover, isn't it interesting that the most viral, most talked about moments from this wedding weren't the staged photos?
No, they were the messy, funny, unscripted interactions.
It kind of challenges the whole idea of the perfect wedding. Maybe the perfection is actually in the chaos. And maybe true status isn't about how perfect your wedding looks on Instagram, but about having friends who feel comfortable enough to make Gollum jokes while you're wearing custom Ralph Lauren.
That's the real fairy tale. Not the dress, but the laughter.
You've been listening to StarScope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture.
Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.